In the news this week, Labor's crushing victory in the state election. Another record majority win as the Liberals struggles to make a comeback.
We have special coverage tonight with Peter Kennedy's analysis and later Dr. Andrew Miller's comment.
This is The Evening News with Ivan Loom and Maliva Thorne.
Good evening. The Labor Party has returned to a record third term in office, with WA Premier Roger Cook declaring another victory. Despite a reduced majority in the lower house, the result is a remarkable achievement as the Liberals and Nationals set to clock up more than a decade in opposition. Paige Reid begins our election weekend coverage.
WA Labor has cruised into a third term with the second landslide victory since Mark McGowan in 2021.
We are humble. We do not take that trust for granted. We will work to repay this trust every single day.
The Labor Party has retained 40 seats with 10 seats in doubt and several too close calls to count. The Liberal and National Alliance won 9 seats in total. Returning as WA Premier, Roger Cook and his family made an appearance at Labor HQ at the end of an election night to celebrate the party's victory.
Labor's visions for Western Australia goes beyond this. We will work every day to ensure WA's economy remains the strongest in the nation, and that there is no better place in the world to get a quality job. By backing our resources industry, diversifying our economy for the future and making more things here, we get back to work tomorrow. Putting together a new government that builds upon everything that we've achieved together to date. That tackles our challenges with determination.
The Liberals, on the other hand, conceded defeat. They will now face an uncertain future due to the low number of seats gained in the vote count so far. Ms Metham gave her concession speech in Cottesloe during the evening.
We've certainly been under-resourced in terms of size, and this is another step forward to building our resources going forward. But it is fair to say it's not the result that we hoped for, but we will continue to work for the people of Western Australia.
In terms of you getting elected, what are your top priorities now that you have been elected, and how do you plan to address them moving forward?
Yeah, my priorities really are to the people who live in the electorate of Cottesloe, and I had a number of things that I focused on in my campaign. I'd like to address the train stations. They're in very poor condition. Accessibility for older people or people with mobility or disability issues is really poor. Plus the road and rail infrastructure. We have dangerous and risky level crossings, and I'd love to find a better solution for that. Also, the Cottesloe foreshore is in a very serious state of disrepair. We have crumbling walls and ugly car parks and rusting playgrounds. So I have a campaign to fix the foreshore, and I'd like to see that through.
It has come to our attention that some polling stations across Perth have run out of ballot papers, with some voters being turned away while others are being forced to wait in long queues in the heat. Paige Reid, WAMN News.
The Liberal Party has lost the election after it was beaten by Labor for the third time, 4 years after Mark McGowan's tsunami election wipeout. Although the party win back several important seats, it still fell well short in numbers to form government.
And while there was the overall result is understandably disappointing, there have been some gains and in some seats a double-digit swing towards us. There is no doubt the Parliament going forward will see a more resourced opposition, and while we are yet to see what the real outcomes are in seats, and we're yet to see how those seats will fall, there is no doubt in terms of number it will be more significant. In experience as well, we can look forward to seeing candidates with a range of different experience and background join us in the Liberal Party going forward as well. Look, in terms of leadership, I will be talking to my colleagues. There is no doubt leadership speculation at the beginning of the campaign had a destabilising effect. when those matters were put to bed, we had some clear air. Whoever the leader is going into the 2029 election, they need 4 years to work as a leader, to build momentum in the community and to have the support of the Liberal Party going forward as well.
I hope that will be you.
Oh, look, as I stated, I will talk to my colleagues. It is important that the leader has the support of the Liberal Party team, and it is important that whoever the leader is going forward is the leader going into the 2029 election.
The minor parties, on the other hand, are now vying for the balance of power.
We spoke with One Nation and Greens to see the latest reaction about the results.
So I feel really confident. Ultimately, I'm the only one in the WA Parliament at the moment, but we're really confident that we'll win at least 3 tonight. But look, I would like to see us win 4 or 5. So look, if we win 3, I'll be disappointed. 4, I'll be happy. 5, I'll be really happy. A strong performance is really important. If we do get 4 or 5, what that means is that we can get the balance of power, and that means in the upper house we can have real influence on the shaping of legislation and ultimately hopefully on the direction of the state. This has been a state government that's been quite cautious and conservative. We think there is a bunch of changes that need to be made, from climate to housing, and we want to be part of that and do that.
Oh, we felt very confident. You know, I didn't want to talk it up too much, but the word on the ground was a lot of people were sick of the 2 major parties, and a lot of people were telling me they were going to get behind One Nation and many other independents and minor parties. So I felt pretty confident we were going to have a good following and a good outcome at the election. So yeah. Oh well, parties, the Conservative side of politics just about got wiped out the last election with all that COVID vote happening. So I think it brings us back out of the wilderness and gives us an opportunity to have some representatives in Parliament that can get out in the community and have some resources, some money and some ability to get out there and communicate with the public and let them know that One Nation will fight for them.
With the dust settled in what's been a dramatic election battle, what will the latest result mean for Western Australia for the next 4 years? Particularly, how will it impact the upcoming federal election before May? Here's Peter Kennedy with his expert analysis.
West Australian voters have given Roger Cook's Labor government a ringing endorsement for a record third 4-year term. It's the first time a West Australian government has won a third 4-year term, and that's a feather in the cap for Roger Cook and the Labor Party, a ringing endorsement. The lesson for the Liberal Party is that what they've achieved over the last 4 years, nowhere near enough. The Labor primary vote was down around 13%, but the vote was scattered among a number of parties. Not enough went to the Liberal Party for the party to gain significant ground and to be a very strong opposition in the new Parliament. A good vote for the National Party, the vote around regional centres, solid, and they'll come back with perhaps 1 or 2 more members. The one bright spot for the Liberal Party was the fact that Lord Mayor Basil Zempilas won a tough campaign in the seat of Churchlands. He was their star candidate, and he'll bring talent into the West Australian Parliament that the Liberal Party sorely needs. But the Liberal Party must take the message. It's got to regroup. It's got to be serious about fixing up the problems with policy and with candidates. And if it doesn't do that, it will become an irrelevancy in West Australian politics. The challenge is up to the Liberal Party. Peter Kennedy, WA MN News.
A group of First Nations women from the Pilbara came together in Roebourne this week to seek ways to improve the lives for women in the community. It comes as International Women's Day coincided with the state election this weekend. Here is a report by Tangiora Hinaki from Nada Media.
March forward for all women and girls. This is the theme for International Women's Day 2025. Aboriginal women from Eramagaru in the Pilbara gathered ahead of the official celebration day to be held on March 8. Ngalama linguist Kerry Churnside shared words of wisdom from her late mother.
My mum, she's passed now, and she inspired me by carrying me, then growing me up and looking after me, sending me to school, and then always being there as a guide for me in my life's journey's pathways. The words of wisdom is Listen, look and learn. Listen is Wanyabari, and look is Nagoma, and learn is Minuanego. And also words of wisdom is, come on, with all the elders really, come on, get up and go to work. We used to work from dusk to dawn to dusk. We used to go work in the dark and we come home in the dark. Don't you young people be lazy buggers. You got to get up and work. If you want something, you get up and you work for it.
Tangi ora hinaki, Ngara News.
WA police have charged a man from Warnbro following a car chase in Perth South. The 25-year-old man was charged by detectives after a blue Benz SUV was seen being driven recklessly in Rockingham. A police helicopter was deployed to track the vehicle, which was later abandoned on a street in Secret Harbour after it blew a tyre. Both the driver and passenger were arrested in Warnbro and later taken into custody. The driver was initially charged with 3 offences relates to the alleged chase, with additional charges for firearms, aggravated assault and stealing later added. He was refused bail and faced court earlier this week, while the passenger was released without charge.
And now, here is Dr. Andrew Miller's weekly medical and news commentary following the state election.
Hi, thanks for your time. Well, a fascinating state election result in that the Liberals and the opposition and the independents probably haven't made much of a dent at all in Labor's position. There'll be lots of much better equipped political pundits than I to analyse why that will be. But my sense moving around the medical community is that this may be a repudiation of the Trump effect. I think that any identification between the right side of politics and what Trump is doing is going to be a negative for their vote, not just in this election, but in the upcoming national election as well. And if I was a Liberal candidate running anywhere, which I never will be, I would be wanting to distance myself as quickly as possible from any suggestion that I might be sympathetic to the kind of chaos that we're seeing administratively, let alone the policies laying behind that in the United States at the moment. So Western Australia has opted for no change, effectively. There's no significant difference. It's a miserable thing to be in opposition as a politician, and the Liberals will be very hard pressed to do anything about changing that, even in 4 years' time, with the numbers looking the way they are at the moment. Depending, of course, on what Labor does in the meantime. We as a community will need to hold their feet to the fire over improving access to healthcare in this state, because it may well be that rather than anyone else winning government, Labor will end up losing it. So let's make sure that we get a good investment in the West Australian community's health going forward, and that we hold this very one-sided parliament to account in terms of delivering for the public, who have, I guess, given them a second chance here of trust following the McGowan landslide before. So congratulations, Premier Cook. This time you've earned it.
Thank you very much. Now it's all over, Red Rover.
But got 2 more to go. You got the federal election, and after that you got the council election, so
not quite out of the woods
No.
yet. And that's our weekly news and current affairs. We have the latest news on our website, wamnnews.com.au.
remember to subscribe to the WAMN Extra News Club so we can continue our work in the community. Full details on wamnnews.com.au/news/extra. From Paige, Peter, Melly, myself, wish you good health, good night. See you next Sunday.
Thanks for watching.